Good evening all, just a quick one. This is basically circuit diagram 3. Okay, last one, and then we'll go on to obviously anyone that wants any help with the 3-phase generator on top. So basically the last diagram, circuit number 2, was basically 4 run coils, 1 trigger coil. This one is 4 run coils, 2 trigger coils. Circuit diagram number 2 was electrically connected in series through the transistors and not on obviously the pulse motor itself. This one, they're not electrically connected at all. So one set of coils is powered by one battery bank, the other set of coils is powered by the other battery bank. They equally charge on the both back ends. Now on circuit diagram number 2, one charges quicker than the other because one coil's acting like a slave, even though it still charges, but it charges it slower. So what I'm going to do tonight, I did say to you yesterday I'm not going to power this up. I'm going to power this up just to show you circuit diagram number 3 operating, show you the multimeters, take one off, show you the primary battery. It stabilises, it'll stay like that for ages. Depending how loud it gets in here, I might leave it running. I've actually got a booster down here tonight, so I should lose no signal in here whatsoever. And if I do lose signal in tonight, I'm putting it down to the pulse motor, so that interference with the Wi-Fi. So on that note, I'll quick drop my tape, and then we'll crack on. I'm going to show you. I'm going to turn you around and show you obviously motor first, and with the setup of it. So here we go. I might have to turn the light off in here as well. We'll see as we go because of reflection. Yeah, let's see if I can turn one off. That one better. It's probably a little bit shit, but right. Okay, let's go this side. Yeah, it's a bit better. Right. So basically, what you're looking at here, the red run coils. Let's get it down here. Right. This red run coil is charged in by this battery. This blue coil is done by this battery. So it's 24 volts in and 24 volts out. So that battery is the back end charge. That battery is the back end charge. There's multiple different batteries in here. It makes no difference. I'm tinkering and have done for a long time. As you see, that white batteries. There's loads in here. So if anyone's not happy with this battery here, I'll put another battery on to match this size, or put 2 little ones on. It's entirely up to you. It makes no difference to me. But anyway, so this was the original run coil. Now while I'm explaining, I'm going to try and come down here and try and explain without shaky. Right. So when the magnet comes around on the red coils, it powers here. Now this is designed to move back and forward. As you can see, I've taped mine down temporarily because they're in a position where I get speed and I get charge. The idea of this trigger coil is so you can move it left and right. Depending how you got it wired up, if you move it on my system, if you move it to the left, I get full power, speed, torque. If I bring it back down to neutral, halfway, I'll get a little bit of torque, a little bit of charge. If I constantly go back towards the right, I lose the torque but get fast charge. Alright, so because on the circuit diagram number 2, here the red coils were pulsing and charging here, or triggering here, to let them know on the north magnet of the run coil to charge on the back end. But when it switches from north to south on the blue coils, that north magnet goes from here over here. I'm only talking about circuit diagram number 2. Now I've introduced 2 coils now, so 2 trigger coils. Now they both fire on the nearest side of this coil, which means I get full torque and full charge. Well, a happy medium for what I designed it to be. Okay, so I'm going to power this up a minute just to show you. Transistors are not electrically connected. They are completely opposite for one another, completely, right? So if I was to run this, there's a lot of wires, so you might not even see it. So on this one, we go by the brown wire from here. It goes out all the way over to charge. Alright, to come back on ourselves. I'm going to go slow, so don't go all fuzzy. Same as this one. This one's separate as well. So the brown, look where I'm going now. Where are you down here? There's the brown. Wires all the way round, and then you're going to get loss of all the wires. All the way round, all the way round, all the way round, over to there, to that one. Then they're not literally connected at all. Alright? So I must have took out the wrong light bulb, the ones with you. Let's turn you around from that. Put you back in. It's a bit better. That headlight's awful. Let's have you put you back in. Right. Yeah, that's a bit better. Right. So basically, I'm going to power this up. We're going to go from there, and then at the end of this, yeah, I just took out my Wi-Fi booster. I'm back. At the very end of this, I have a very, very, very interesting pattern that I'm going to share with you all. You probably won't find it online. I didn't struggle, but I've had it. Alright, so I'm going to unleash that and show you. Whether that get me in trouble, I don't really know, but I'm going to release it anyway because I found it. So if I can find it, most people can find it. But I'm going to go through that at the end. So I'm going to power this up. So we're going to see equal charge on both sides of the batteries. I'm going to put you somewhere. Actually, over here actually, while I do that. Not good, not good. That'll be alright. Let me just power this up. If it gets too loud, then I'll kill it and then we'll go from there. Alright? So just quickly for the video, these two charge batteries. So we've got one sitting at 1194, one sitting at 1226. Turn it back round to move again. I'm going to take one of these motors with you from there. Second run battery was sitting at. See, I need you to look at it really. Second, yeah, we've got blinding, even I can see that now. Right, hang on. Oh, shit. $12.49. Alright, and then the other one. Quite hard when you do this on your own, peeps. Put you there from there. $12.85. Alright, won't show that one, but it's $12.85. So let's power it up. This is obviously circuit diagram number 3. This should be the last video tonight on this motor, unless I get any people that need assistance. And then we're going to go into either Joseph Newman or the Russian motor. I'm going to wait to the end for the water one, because I'll be completely honest with you, that's naughty. Right, here we go. Let me power this up and I'll come back to you. First 12 volt battery going in. Off. And second one going in. Push it. Right. do, I'm going to actually stick you right there. And what I'm going to do, grab my tea, and what I'm going to do, I'll let you power up. I'll stop talking for a minute. Transistors will never run warm at all on 12 volts in, 12 volts out. Now this is 2 batteries in, 2 batteries out, but you've got 2 trigger coils. Just imagine the machine has been split in half and they're shared, but they have nothing to do with one another. This is what this is. So 1229, 1198. Now, on the video that I put on, I said it's very dangerous. Quite a few people did watch that. That was dangerous. I got Paul to watch that one. So I inboxed Paul prior to doing that video. There was 2 batteries this side, 3 batteries this side. So it's 2 batteries in for 1, 2 batteries in for 2 batteries out, 1 battery in, 1 battery out. So that was 3 and 3. This is 2 and 2. Still got the same speed. 12.30, so I'll go to that in a minute. Let this power up. Now if you want to put extra batteries in, either at the beginning here and here, be mindful, your transistor will warm up. And the reason why I introduced the last circuit here, because the circuit diagram number 2, yes it's good enough, because it's sharing the same trigger coil, it's actually connected with the transistors, but one is actually acts like a slave, still charges, but doesn't charge as quick. These are charging equally the same now, because they run on their own trigger coil. So when the norths are firing on, when the red coils are firing on norths, when it leaves from north, the blue flips the poles and they fire on the north, on the opposite side of the motor. Okay? But they are literally charging at the same rate. 1201, 1232. The first charge battery that goes in, that one will be ahead of the game prior to the second one, because it's behind on the poles. So you won't see them go up together, it will go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Where circuit diagram number 2, it was going 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. So this one's acting like a slave. But I need you to get the concept on one trigger coil and having them electrically connected. Okay? You get the same outcome with 2 and or with 1 trigger coil. The only good thing about this, when you get round to battery swap, they'll be equally charged, so you can just go flush. Alright? So let's show you meters. Going around. I moved a bit quick there and a bit laggy. 1202, 1230, yeah, 1202, 1234. There we go, 1203. So we're charging. Now, I can leave this all night if I wanted to now. Literally leave it all night. Okay? At present, with 2 in, 2 out, it's not loud. If I put more batteries on the beginning and the back end, it gets faster. Now I'll set the trigger coils here on this motor to the desired what I want. You can either have full torque, and the charge does charge still. It doesn't charge it as good, but you get full torque on the shaft. Now on circuit diagram number 2, I can touch this. I can touch it. I can feel this. I wouldn't grab this because it will wrap me. But I can literally put my skin, even though everyone's skin is moist, I can put my skin on that shaft and now I can play about it without it hurting me. On the other video where I was explaining to Paul, we've got 2 batteries in, 2 batteries out, 1 battery in, 1 battery out. Your hands are damp, so as soon as you grab something like a smooth shaft like this, it will grab you and pull you. So you have to be very, very mindful, okay? That's how I know you can what you can do on this shaft and what you can't. Okay? I'm still learning. I'm going to hold my hands up. I'm still learning because this is you do a lot of things with this. Alright? So that's that. Anyone want to know what transistors I'm running on this particular setup tonight? It will be C4495. Yes. It's not the D2241. That's a good transistor. The reason why I'm using these ones is because they're on the blocks already, already paced up. These ones here are the D2441. Yeah, they're on there. Yeah, so these also the DT441. Right, which has been taken off the block ages and ages ago. What we're looking at, 1204, 1237. It all depends on what condition your batteries are as well. If your batteries are in line around like mine, they're going to be calcitated, especially the AGM, or they're also known as valve regulated less added battery. They've got cloths. They ain't got plates, they've got cloths. They've got plates within the cloth but they're wrapped. Alright? They take a lot harder, a long time to charge if they've been sitting in the shed or on the floor for too long. That's why that one's still charging. It's 1205 now, 1237. Now, you can also, when you move these trigger coils, if you move one, it throws everything out. Okay? So you can't have one at top and one at full charge. It confuses the wheel on what you're doing. So if you move one, you've got to move the other one identical. That's why you see this perspex at the bottom on some of the videos, you've got pen draw marks everywhere. Where the mathematical has got to be spot on. So I'm going to get that through, that's why I'm going to get it out on the camera now. You can't move one at top and one at charge and think, yeah, push it, get both best of both worlds. Don't work like that. Once you move one, you've got to move the other. If you move one, even just a quarter of an inch, you best make sure you move the other one identically because it will throw the wheel out. And what happens is you go, it's not as fast as what I see Dean on the video. Oh, my transistors are warming up because you're confusing the wheel what to do. It's sharing the same wheel, but they're not electrically connected on none of it, on one another. Alright? So what we're looking at, 1205, 1238. That one down there, that 17 amp hour, I've had that for a long, long time. I've had a couple of them for a long time. I've actually got two here that I've actually had capacitors blow on me when I've left it charging. It hasn't charged the battery because the battery plates were warped and it's come back onto the capacitor, overloaded the capacitor, blew the capacitor out, so they're over there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a video where I'm going to convert these batteries, some of these batteries in here, to not be lead acid. Alright, we're going to convert them all together where they charge very quick but discharge very slow. Okay? Very quick, very slow. And all we need is a few ingredients over the shelf from eBay. I'd say no more than per battery £4. That's it. You convert the battery from a lead acid into this new kind of battery. Alright? 1206, 1239. I'll show you, I'm going to pick you up, spin around. So they're charging equally the same. 1206, 1239. Remember, this is a bigger battery, it's a newer battery, that's a smaller battery, that's an old battery. Alright? What is the date on it? It was installed 20th of the 4th, 19. Alright? That's an old battery. Been through the works, that one. So there you go. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut this down. Turn it around. I'm going to shut you down. And I've got a very, very, very interesting pattern I'm going to show you. And so yeah, I don't know what, because I've done a lot of videos now, so I don't know who's watching or is new into it. If you're new into it, you stumbled onto it, go back and look at the other videos. It'll be self-explanatory on the other videos. Let's do this. No different, the trigger cord is no different on the second one, identical to your first one. remember your magnet spacing. So my magnet spacing is 1.5 inches, so I have to make sure that I have my coil shape 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch on the rectangle shape to correspond with the 1/2 inch magnet I'm using. Now remember, it's just the basics, so if you're going to use a magnet which is 1 inch wide, then you have to work out around the wheel, yeah, and that's how it goes. That's how you can upscale it, right? So the bigger the magnets, the bigger the wheel, the bigger the copper, the more batteries you've got to use, right? Because that's why we use, as much as we've got this thing flying fast, you've got to remember, we've got very little copper in here, very little. I would say, if I was to stick all this copper on a spool, I reckon I'm sticking it on, I reckon I'm sticking it all on one of these, a 500 gram spool. All the copper that's in this system, I reckon it's all coming off that. I can bet my bottom dollar. That's even with the 30 gauge wire, which will, when you put these two trigger coils on this 500, it is 500 gram, yeah, 500 gram spool, it'll look silly, it'll look like nothing on there because it's so thin. But then when you put the run coil copper on this, it'll probably be what's in my hands. Alright? So considering the speed and the charge we're getting out for next to no copper that's in the system, it ain't that bad really. Alright? So if you've stumbled across this video, then obviously if you need to be educated, go back to the other ones. This is the last one I'm doing on this motor tonight. Okay? So I will do a circuit diagram for this. Basically it's no different. It is a little bit different, so I'm going to have to do a circuit diagram. That's only fair, so I will do a circuit diagram for this. Obviously the ones I've got circuit diagram number 2 that I've drawn up with pretty colours and made it look really kiddified. It's so people can understand. Obviously I'll do that again for this circuit. Now, I did tell you about losing the charged batteries altogether. Now, it's called back popping. Now, I've had to take a long, hard thought. If I was to lose these two charged batteries, now I'm only going to tell you now, this is out of your own safety. This is not on me, so this is my disclaimer, whatever you want to call it. I'm not taking no responsibility for this. So for the ones that are electrically minded and tinker around, and I've been doing it for years, if you heard of the term back popping, you take that at your own risk. Not many people have heard that term. Basically, where you lose the back end charged batteries and swap the wires over and back onto the run batteries, that's classed as back popping. Now I'm not going to show you on the video to do that, out of the health and safety and for my own disclaimer that I'm not taking full responsible for it, okay? That's why I'm physically telling you, it is a known thing, it's called back popping, it is highly dangerous. If you do it wrong, your batteries will explode in your face. That's why I will only advise you and educate you up until this point. Run the batteries, charge the batteries, grab along, swap the batteries. Now, so the first battery that charges this battery, that wire here comes over to the second run battery. Okay, and the second run charge wires come back over to the first run battery. You have to stick them on quick, make sure the wheel's already moving, and that's classed as back popping. If you do it wrong, every single wire in the circuit will glow like a loom from a car. If you do it wrong and your batteries are not in good condition, they will go bang. I personally didn't want to release that information tonight, but because people might hold it against me, you've missed the last bit what you've been talking about. I had to take a real long, hard thought about that, okay? So I'm not going to show you that on this video. It is done, it has been done, many people have done it. It is dangerous, and I have to take a long, hard thought. Most people that are watching this have never played with a transistor, never done soldering, never built anything out of wood, plastic or metal. So I have to take into consideration the viewers watching this for their safety, for listening to me. Okay, so but that will be that is that last bit. From then we will go into the 3 phase that sits on this. Okay, but I think you've got an adequate amount of information for what you've watched all through the circuits, okay, apart from the back popping. It is called back popping for a reason. If you want to Google it, it is a well-known thing. It is highly dangerous, okay. It's not a well-known thing within the scientific community. They don't entertain it. It's not word of, not really, not in their terms anyway. So it's called back popping, dangerous. I have done it. I've done it in this shed a few times. Not really my cup of tea. Yes, it will act like an alternator. It does act like an alternator because what you're putting in is coming back again. Alright? Who's talking there? Let me come over. How you doing, Paul? Who else is there? Billy boy. So yeah, that's called back popping. So I'm not going to try and lose myself. So yeah, I'm not going to repeat myself either because obviously people joining, people already been watching. So that's what that's called. It's called back popping. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go straight into this pattern that I'm going to show you, and this is the end of this motor now. Okay, this will be folded up. All the wires we put together, all wrapped up. This will be given away to obviously I deem to have it really. There's quite a few people that I know that would love to have a little play of this because this is a toy. Okay, so but my conscience to a certain degree is clear because now you've got the knowledge. End of. So I can walk away from this. The next one will be either Joseph Newman or the Russian generator. I keep saying the Russian generator, that's because I speak to a bloke in Russia that showed me that it is possible. So that's how I've nicknamed it, the Russian generator. But I'm going to show you a pattern that's similar to that, as not identical but similar. And that was patented in 1968, and then it was continuously patented by different names for different corporations to keep shelved. But I've got that pattern. Now I've took long, deep, dark thinking whether to release some of the paper visually on the live tonight, and I've took that decision and I'm going to do it because I come across it in the open source, if you like. It wasn't locked away. It wasn't given to me for the post. I found it. Okay. I'll take responsibility if it's naughty for me to upload it or show you. I'm not going to upload it. I'm going to show you on a live. It's down to you. If you want to take a screenshot of it, it's down to you. But it is called the Green Generator. So we're going to go from that. So I'm just trying to double think what I'm going to do. So let's collapse this down. That's off. That's off. Leave them on. Multimeters are off. Right. So let's come over here. I'm going to actually put my light on as well, Pete. It's a bit dark now. So hang tight. Right. I'm also going to stick you on a bench so I don't have to hold you. So there, that's the end of the old pulse motor. If you've only just joined, obviously, hope you don't lock you. Let's have a look here. If you've only just joined, if you want to know more about back popping, then obviously go back on the video. It's highly dangerous, has been done by lots of people, by myself included, and I don't advise it. Unless you're experienced and you know your battery chemistry to the T, okay? It is your battery chemistry that will fuck you up. Because if you've got to remember, if the power coming from your primary battery is not going out quick enough, but it's charging coming quicker, yeah, don't get me wrong, it will never boil the battery because we're not dealing with hot electricity. But within the battery chemical, very hard because not people can understand it. During the battery chemistry, just got in a bit. Oh, got a bit. Okay, you know where it's Paul. Evening, Nicky, Dave. Within the battery, there's lots of chemistry that goes on within the battery. So obviously, when your alternator charge on your car constantly charges it to 14. Well, like would you say over 14 volts continuously? Okay. So it gets a bit confusing. But when you back pop from a pulse motor like this, so you lose the charge batteries, you twist over the terminals. So I'm going to say this clearly on this live as well. So basically, when we lose the charge battery, for example, you don't take the charge battery leads from the first battery and you take it back to the first battery. That's dangerous. That's extremely dangerous. It will burn all your components out instantly. They will set alight instantly and you'll probably burn your arm to death. So disclosure from my part. I'm not taking any part of it, but because I've mentioned it in other videos, I will talk about it, but I won't show you. Okay. So what you're supposed to do, so imagine there's 2 batteries here, 2 batteries here, disconnect your charge batteries here, switched over your terminals, back to the batteries. So they charge one another. That's called back popping. Highly dangerous. I have done it in this shed. It's a lot safer to you just to run the batteries, charge on one end, and then go back to it 20 hours, 21 hours, 22 hours, however long it's going to be, because you're playing with different batteries, and then swap them over. Okay? Now, that's one easy way of doing it. There's obviously the back popping, which is less convenient, so you just leave it alone. Or you do what me and Paul done, or what I done, or Paul witnessed. You put batteries in, it powers it up such a high rate, you can stick an alternator on it if you really wanted to, turn it to the side. But I've only gave you the basic knowledge so you lot can go away and play sensibly and safely. But I need you to go away and don't end up at Basing Hospital. Then obviously the video gets backtracked to me and I end up in court. So there's a disclosure from me. Right, so that's it. Right, so from that we're going to bosh. So we're going to go from the pulse motor with obviously the generator goes on top. We will go into that at some point. That's not hard. It's going to be a few videos because it's obviously cutting up certain configurations within a 3-phase. You can do a 1-phase, a 2-phase, a 3-phase. You can do an upright, a pancake if you like. Because obviously, me putting on the magnetic stator on that, it did move it. It would probably charge it. Could it charge a bank of batteries for you to use while it's running? I would say no, because obviously that's only 1 phase. Obviously a wind turbine is obviously 3-phase. Okay, you get more punch, I say, for your money with 3-phase rather than 1 phase. But 1 phase is good. You can do 1 phase, but if you're going to do 1 phase, you've got to find a happy medium between thin wire and thick wire, which is a high current or high voltage. You've got to have a happy medium. So obviously that's why we use 19 gauge within the pulse motor run coils, because it's a happy medium between high current and obviously high voltage, but we're not using it because of that, obviously. But go back to the videos if you just joined, we're still learning. So here we go. This is going to be a challenge. So I've had this in Marcus' possession for a long time. So I'm going to read it and then I'll show you it. I'll show you probably, how many pages is it? It is, it don't actually say it. It's 1 of 3, 1 of, alright, so actually the pattern information on it is actually 9 pages long, 10 pages long, and then it goes into, right, yeah, I can actually show you a diagram, that's wicked, yeah. I've only printed it off, all this is obviously on hard drives and on my tablet and whatever else. So this is the international application published under the Patent Cooperation Treaty, PCT, World Intellectual Property Organisation, the International Bureau. International publication date was 12th of July 2012. It states at the top, but it's not, because at the back, the first time it was ever patented was 1968, and then it goes down. So I'll show you the front in a minute. So 1968, and then it went on to 2010, then it was, 1999, 2010, and then it goes into 2007, 2006, 2008, 2007, 2009, 2009, and it was repatented again on 12th of July 2012. And the company is WIPO/PCT. Patent number is WO 2012/093923A1, and it is called the Green Energy Generator. I'm going to read the abstract of it. It's very, now if you ever read patterns, they are weird. They'll read a sentence, they have a number, a digit, or a configuration of a number, because it's what it's trying to do. It's trying to tell you what it does, and then it's pointing you to the diagram of what you're reading. That's how they work out the patterns. That's how you read a pattern. Alright? But I'm going to bypass the numbers, and if I have to, then I'll just continue. Alright? So this is what it says, the abstract. Hang on. There's a lot going on. And I want to be quick as well. Because I don't know who's watching my lives. I took it into consideration. Can't be bald-faced, but someone knows watching my videos. Right, the abstract. The present invention relates to the system to provide an uninterrupted supply of electricity through a built-in monitoring mechanical compromising of I'm going to miss all that out. The energy storage system comprising of a lithium iron phosphate batteries of a future, listen to the words here, or future lithium batteries supplying low DC power. Well, we've got that on the floor already, because that lasts for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, alright? To a slow power motor, a slow power motor comprising a magnetic motor as disclosed in 084 within the picture. Pattern connected to a generator using a belt-driven pulley or gear-driven system. The low power motor mimics wind or kinetic energy. Well, that's funny because that's what's on my floor. A generator system having a double magnetic motors providing high output DC power to the ESS, which is the energy storage system, which could be a extension lead. It could be anything. Battery, extension lead, capacitor, anything. You've got to find a way to store that energy. You can do it within the extension lead. If it's continuous and you're going to be using it continuously, you don't want to store it. Just like hydrogen, you use hydrogen on demand. You don't store it because it's not feasible to store it because you're going to use it as you make it. Right? An inverter system measuring the energy levels of the ESS and balancing the ESS if it drops below a certain level within the output of the generator is greater than the output of the low-powered motor. The present invention solves the dependence of fossil fuel-based energy source which is non-renewable and environmentally unfriendly, and also to provide cheaper alternative solar and wind energy. The present invention incorporates the novel features of described to generate higher outputs of energy using low powered input. Well, that's funny because I've got that there on the floor. I use low powered input which lasts a fucking long time, and I'll get more on the back end. So when people are saying to me, "Cool, that you should put that on with a motor or a generator," yes, because it's a toy. I couldn't show you that could do that. So basically, what's in here, I've got on the floor, technically. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you. I'm not uploading this. I'm going to show you live on the first page. So I'm not talking waffle. Get ready for it. Do I need to turn this around? Is it all backwards? Tell me if it's all backwards. Does look backwards, doesn't it? Let me, yeah, it's backwards. Just remember because you're looking at me. Let me turn you around. Yeah, cheers, Paul. I thought it was. I'm stretching, so I don't want the paper to collapse. Will it collapse? Hang on. Oh, that's wicked. Right, there you go. So we're looking at here. Where's the finger? We're looking here. Green energy generator. Now that diagram, I'm going to give you a better picture of that diagram. All right. So let's turn you around. So if you're sensible enough, you would have took a screenshot. I would have if it was me. Right. So let me just go down to. I've just read all that out. So basically, when you go through all the actual what the pattern does, it's basically in a nutshell is what I just read out. Okay. Now, if anyone wants a copy of this, inbox me, and I'll give you a copy of this. It's not a problem. But I'm not going to upload it. I've got loads and loads of patterns. Some you wouldn't even you just look at it and go, "Fuck me, really?" Right, let's turn this one around. Now this is a single bit of paper. I don't think I can hold this up. It might hold itself up. I can't see it. Oh, it does. Here we go. That's a bigger version of what they're talking about. Here we go. So when we get round to doing the Russian generator, which is technically not a Russian generator, that's what I learned it from. Someone showed me it. It's that. Now, this is the ESS system they're talking about. You lose that, replace that with an extension lead because you'll be using the power continuously. The inverter, where you can put a battery in front of the extension lead and then put the inverter on the battery. So obviously the power is going straight from the extension lead into your battery. Come on, am I too close to it? Here we go. The booster is in the shed tonight, peeps. So there you go. If I can get closer, so you can see it's clearer. Don't forget, a lot of this diagram in here you can pull out. A lot of it's waffle. Okay. Don't think that all that they're going to stick the 100% stuff in there. As me and Paul, who work with each other, you won't get 100% Nikola Tesla's patterns either, because obviously they would took all the important stuff out of it. Okay, to make you chase around and work it out for many years. But there you go. But yeah, there you go. While I'm on the live, I don't know much. See how much thing I've got. No. Yeah, so I will do the battery one, which is obviously the going to lead acid batteries to this new type of battery. It's not that new, if I'm honest with you. Not many people know about it. It's a food grade battery, and very good, very good. Okay, it's the safest battery you can have in your life. You can overcharge it, undercharge it. It's very forgiving. It doesn't warp the plates. Like I say, I'll tell you one of the ingredients. Paul will probably, because he obviously does what I do a lot of research. I'll show you one of the ingredients, which is actually over here. Old roses. Right. It's been in this shit for a while. You ready for this, Paul? No laughing. You've definitely heard of this. Not many people have. It's fucking turned around here, man. I fucking hate this thing. At least I've turned it around. At least I've learnt that bit. Here's your ingredient. Alright, that's all you need. And a bit of Epsom salts, but even that you don't even need. So you're replacing that whole liquid, water liquid, with one bag of this stuff, and you've got yourself a very efficient battery that will last a lot longer. A lead acid battery, you can undercharge it, overcharge it, plates don't get warped. The only time it mucks up if you use a battery that's already warped and you don't realise it, you go, it's not working. Try a different battery. Obviously the AGM batteries, the cloth batteries, these have to be plates. These have to be, if you're going to convert batteries from lead acid to this stuff, you have to use maintenance batteries. Hence the reason they're trying to do away with all the maintenance battery. But if you look at a maintenance free battery, what you'll find is it's got a lid on it, and not many people know this. And what happens is you pop the lid off, and it's got the lids underneath. So if you've got a maintenance free battery that's playing up, well, don't forget, when that battery heats up under a lot of pressure and a lot of heat on the alternator, it's constantly being charged by an alternator, pounding it with hot electricity. It obviously evaporates some of the liquids within the cells. So a lot of people with maintenance free batteries, they go, oh, that's knackered, we're going to get a new one. Pop them, pop the main lid off sensibly, wear goggles, face mask, so that no acid comes up and burns you. That stuff's not nice. I've been burnt loads of times with the fingers, it hurts. Look at the levels with a torch and see what's low. If one's low, just add up with obviously more liquid, or whatever the case may be, and then obviously try and put it on charge and see if that was your problem. And if it might come back, you never know. But you can do it with maintenance free batteries as well, because each maintenance free battery's got an initial lid and then it's got caps. You just get a really thin flathead screwdriver, pop the caps off, empty the acid out. Sensibly, you want to neutralise the acid, use baking soda or carbonate soda in a bucket, so it neutralises it, so then you can stick it into a container and dispose of it sensibly. Okay. Obviously, just follow the ways to do that. Don't just dump it on your park or down your drain, because you will cause aggravation. But yeah, that's what we're going to go into. I'm going to go into that and obviously show you with this, using this pulse motor to charge them batteries. Where what we do, we charge it to its full max, and then I'll put, say, a 50 volt or 100 volt light bulb on it, and I'm going to take it down to 1 volt. And most people go, oh my god, that battery's fucked. Well, it's a different concept of a battery, different chemistry. We'll charge it back up again, and we'll discharge it again. And they're very, very forgiving. Alright? So there's different alternatives out there, so we don't have to use lead acid batteries. But the energy density is different from battery to battery. So I wouldn't say, let's say for example, lead acid battery are good. These other batteries are good on, where you can overcharge them, undercharge them, chuck them about, plates don't warp, but can they outpower lead acid when you do a load on them? Probably not. But for example, if you're in the middle of nowhere and you need emergency lighting, it charges quick, discharges slowly. Yeah. With lead acid, it takes forever to charge and takes seconds to discharge, and that's the benefit. So you've got to weigh up the pros and the cons from different battery chemistry. Okay. Other than that, yeah, this one here, I wanted to just release this one, but I can't release the whole thing because I don't think legally I'm allowed, if I'm honest with you. But if you want a copy of it, let me know in the inbox or message me, and I will definitely send you over a copy of it. It is very, very interesting, but I can actually show you the actual when it was first released and patented. This is the first page of that patent. Here we go. Let's see. Here we go. So you've even got the names who patented it, and if you look at the very top, it says here, is it? I can't pronounce his name. Perpetual Motion Machine, Scientific American, in New York, US. Volumes 218, number 1, 1st of January 1968. Pages 114, 112, and that was the serial number. Okay. And then as you go down, and we've got CA. Now, if you're clever enough, you know there's something missing from that CA. I'm not going to go into that, but if you're clever enough, you'll understand where I'm coming from. And then we go down to obviously all the relevant stuff. Okay. See, it forever gets updated and repatented and repatented and repatented, because what they've worked out, not all patents, only some. If you patent something, your patent's good for 20 years. After 20 years, anyone can make it. Okay? Anyone can make it. That is correct. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's correct. Now, the last patent was 2012. Well, that's not close to the mark. So this is probably going to get ready to repatent this. Okay? But this is a green energy generator. Now, we've all got stuff to build this. Okay, to be fair. Now, obviously, we've all got an inverter. I've got one over there. We've all got a speed controller. Everyone knows what I'm on here. Obviously, Paul's watching the video, so if you talk to Paul, he'll tell you more electronically minded than I am, because I don't do all them circuits, because I like to bog things down. Okay, they're good for some people. For me, I don't bother with that stuff. Okay, so that's a speed circuit. It's basically a little circuit with a couple of diodes, a couple of capacitors, diode, whatever goes on, and you can play about it. Okay, and then that will go into a low-powered motor, which is this on the floor, and then I can put a pulley on the shaft onto a DC generator that goes straight back on itself. So it's feeding itself. This is feeding itself. Yeah, I think the pattern works the same as copyright. Has it expired? It has an expired time, yeah, so you're right, yeah. So this is, we're still in, so obviously me showing you the first page of this, I could potentially get in trouble, but I found this, it wasn't posted to me, I didn't nick this, I found this, okay, and this is what I'm doing. I'm a chronic researcher, so people out there who know me personally, I'm a chronic researcher on the health and the energy. That's what I've decided to do in my spare time for many, many years. Chronic. When I say chronic, I mean chronic. Okay? So I've got stuff, you've seen pictures on my Facebook of what I've got, and that's only a tiny bit of it. But I come across this on that day, and I thought, that'd be interesting. Looked over that, thought, because obviously when you read things, you go back to it and you go, oh God, I forgot I had that. But yeah, this is, Paul will like this one, because this one's got a lot of stuff in it. But it also mentions in here, for example, we say, we've missed a lot of it because we're on 5. So for example, on 5 it says, relates to an uninterrupted battery operated generator system that utilises a flywheel and a gyroscope to store the multiple kinetic energy, which is then converted into electrical energy. The uninterrupted battery operated generator system of the present invention also generates kinetic energy from electrical energy. Okay, so you have to understand their terminology. So obviously, if I was going to patent something, I've got to put it in such a way so the patent office understands. And if they don't understand it, they say, well, we know what you've got, but you've got to word it a little bit different. And that's how they go about it. All right. So What else we got here? The present invention incorporates of the use of an electric motor as disclosed in the European patent. So there's another patent attached to this patent, okay? And the motor disclosed the patent uses both sides of the energizer core to produce a highly productive energy. The motor, as disclosed in 084 patent, intends to overcome the inefficiency of the standard electric motor, which I've already explained. I can't believe I just read that. I was just waffling, trying to find something useful for you to listen to. The motor, as disclosed in 084 patent, intends to overcome the deficiency of the standard electric motor, which only uses the outside of the energized segment, and the motor uses both sides of energizing coil. I've said that in one of my videos before reading this, because I haven't really read this properly. Alright, well I said to you, all DC motors have been made wrong. Not all AC motors, but most DC motors have been made wrong, because they only put one coil in, so you put energy in, you get energy out, and you're obviously going to lose your primary energy before you get more out on the back end. But this is just stated in the pattern that they've got one that's got two coils. So what you put in, you get back out. It's stated that in this pattern, alright? So if you want to look up this pattern, if you didn't get a screenshot of it, this pattern number is the WO2012093923A1. Okay, it's worth looking into that. Okay, whether I get in trouble for this one, who knows? Okay, who knows? But there you go. But other than that, thanks for all coming in to watch. Paul, sorry you're coming late, mate. Normally I'll give everyone a heads up that I'm going to do it. Obviously, set down the kids tonight. Anything else in here said? We've got Dave. It's nice to see you again, Dave, and Nikki. You got a photocopier? Nothing like that. Yeah, I'll copy, mate. I'll copy one for you. If anyone else wants it, just let me know. I can give you a copy of that, because obviously, legally, I can do that. Okay, I haven't showed you the whole pattern. I've only showed you the front cover. So, but yeah, I've got a lot of interesting stuff. You know, Paul will get lost on what I've got, and he'll probably be like child in a sweet shop. You know what I mean? I'll have some of that. So, but yeah, if you want a copy of this, you're more than welcome to have a copy of it. It is self-explanatory if you know how to read patterns. A lot of us probably do know how to read patterns. It's not that hard. Is there anything else in this pattern that you might want to? Yeah, so the gear ratio they were talking about was this. It was weird. I won't have to turn the camera around because it's just a picture. That's the gear ratio they were talking about. So you've got the top one's the generator. Hang on. So the bottom one, the bigger wheel's the low powered motor, and the little wheel's the generator. Alright, they're using cogs. You can use cogs or belt driven. It makes no difference. Alright? It makes no difference. But it's the way I look at it is oh yeah, I've got the belt version. Got the belt version. There you go. This is the belt version. So what we're looking at here. So generator, belt, low powered motor. So the generator is the big wheel, low powered motor is the small wheel at the very bottom. There we go. This is a genuine pattern. Okay? Genuine pattern. So what happens is when a useful person comes across, for example, if I was to pattern something and they go, right, yeah, that's going to be a bit naughty releasing that to the public because that's going to cause mayhem. And what they normally do, they shelf it, they pay you off and say, right, here we go, we're going to give you $5 million for your invention. So they shelve it. And then what happens is when a corporation comes along and they go, right, we need to do something because such and such and such and such. Ah, we've got the answer to that. We've got it shelved, we've bought that pattern. And corporations use it. And that's how normally it works, you know what I mean? But it'll never be given to the likes of us. But what they'll do, what they normally do, they stick little technologies within our appliances, and like I showed you one, which is, well, I can't remember, the drain pump. Okay, reads no amps, no volts, but lights up a 50-volt bulb. Okay, that's a clear example. The only example I could probably give you on some of my videos that they're rubbing it in your face, it's in your appliances. All right. Now, like I said in the beginning of my videos, I like anyone to challenge me. Okay, I don't. Some of my videos, one of my videos was absolutely outrageous. You know, I was tired. I was drinking at night, and I said to the missus, I'm not going to start doing these videos if I've had a drink because I can lose it with my mouth, and that's a bit naughty because I'm forgiving. But yeah, I get agitated a lot because it's in my face, and because it's in my face, and not everyone's living their lives, and I don't blame you for living your lives. Go out to the pub, go and meet your friends, go do what you've got to do, go to weddings, whatever the case may be, have your interests, because life's short, and I get that. But obviously there's some people who like doing what I do, and I'll have I'll let no man snow me. And I have said that in videos. I'll let no man snow me. I will challenge you all the way. And if someone was to knock on my door and go, "You've been a bit of a pain in the arse, you need to stop it," fair enough. If someone knocks on my door and says, "We're going to send your kids back through the post," shut your mouth. Don't have no choice but to stop it, because I have kids, I have a wife, so that's how I've got to look at it. But all the time I'm allowed to voice my opinion, and I show you a quick glimpse, and then away I go. I can't upload this to Facebook media, because that would just that'd be a disaster waiting to happen. But it is there, it's not fake, it's all there. It's even got the serial number from 1968 all the way to 2012, and normally work in 20-year periods, and then they repattern it. So this is due to be repatterned again. And I'll be honest with you, I found this because my friend in Russia said to me, "Go there, go there, go there," and it's there. It's there for temporarily, get it quickly before they get hold of it, and that's how I got hold of it. Okay, I'm not a hacker. I don't hack, but that's how I got hold of it. So I wouldn't have found it on my own. That's why, as a collective group of us, talk all around the world, and that's how we get you know Rob Peter to pay Paul, and that's how we deal with it, because he might not be able to view something in his country that I can. And, you know, then anytime you look that up for me, because I've got to A, B, and C, but I'm missing D. Yeah, no worries, mate. I'll sort that out for you, and that's how we've worked. We've worked for a long, long time like that. Okay, so there you go. But I am going to love and leave you. I'm going to go in, make a fresh cup of tea. That's on the floor now. That's done. Okay. Now, Paul, I know you come in late. Look, just at the end of that pulse, mate, I'll talk about back popping. Obviously, when we get together at work again, I'll explain to you. I don't advise it. It can be done. I have done it in this shed. It is dangerous. It is dangerous, because you don't know what condition your batteries are. Okay. But yeah, I'll explain that to you. Anyone who don't work with me, go back on the video. I have tried to explain it, but just be careful. All the circuit up to now, with the 2 trigger coils and the 4 run coils, that's perfectly safe to work with. Okay. The other thing I will say, which I've completely forgot, and no one's going to know, if they've watched all the other videos and haven't watched this one, then they're not going to know the last bit that I've crucially forgot to mention. Basically, if you take the capacitor of the back end of each charge end, so you have a diode, you have obviously the negative goes into the capacitor and the negative part of the capacitor. If you was to literally separate the diode and the positive, and the capacitor completely remove, and then you've got the negative lead, that becomes something completely different. You're now looking at, that's why the first circuit I put was half AC waveform. Okay, now that goes into AC. When you got the capacitor on it, that's DC. All right. So it's little things even I'm forgetting. Okay. It's hard to write up a circuit diagram for this. Like, I've had to make it real basic for people to understand. Because, like I said to my missus tonight, this is the last time I'm in here on this pulse motor. This is the last one. Bosh. The next one will be, if I ever get to get this out again, it will be for the 3-phase generator 6 on top, which is not rocket science. I will go through that. I've got to have requests by people to do that. I'm not just going to go out of my own way and do that, because that's a lot of effort. I've got the little one, I've got the bigger one, but I've literally got to do it from scrap for people to understand and learn. So unless I get a high-end call for me to do that, then I will do that for people, okay? And you can do different configurations, you know, up tall, pancake. I wouldn't recommend pancake, but there's different ways. As long as you've got a strong magnet on that shaft, in a square, north-south, corresponding to your 3-phase, because it's so strong, and because the shaft's moving at such a rate, all atoms precess at right angles, because they act like gyroscopes. Going back to the Joseph Newman, okay? All atoms behave like gyroscopes. They precess at right angles. So as long as you understand that rule and that law, the generator on top of it will work, and it does work, okay? So there you go. So it's been a long journey for me on this. I've been taken down and been brought back up and got another. But if you want me to, I'm now going to go quiet now from Facebook, because obviously I've got to prep whether we're going to do the Joseph Newman or the Russian generator. The Russian generator, I've got half the system here for that. I'm just waiting for a phase 1 motor with that generator. I've got the alternator. I've got to convert the alternator. That's the wiring, and obviously all the stator inside. You literally got to take it all out. It doesn't become an alternator anymore. So that's an easy system for me to play with. Once again, I have to do videos for that. But I've also got half the gear here, if not all the gear here for the Joseph Newman motor. The only thing I'm missing, and I still can't get hold of, is a long smooth shaft, because I need it at least 2 foot, and the only piece of steel I've got is a foot, and it's not good enough, because obviously I want to show you the full whack of it, okay? But like I say, I'm going to go quiet now on Facebook. Obviously the Facebook itself will stay open, and then unless someone happens to bring it down, you will know, because you won't be able to access it whatsoever. But yeah, I'm going to go quiet. Anyone that works with me at work, I'll see you when I see you at work. Anyone that don't work with me, I'll see you on my normal Facebook. That's why I created the group, because I started on my Facebook account. That's why I created the group. It's a lot easier. I can separate hobby and family. But yeah, I'm hoping you've learnt a lot on this. It is educational. I've enjoyed doing it. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, so we've covered a lot of stuff tonight. So yeah, I will do the circuit. That'll be the last thing I load up onto the Over Unity Motor group. I will do the circuit for this one here. This one here, you charges both ends identically the same. Whereas circuit number 2, one acts like a slave, one actually powers, but they both power, but they don't power equally the same. But I needed to go through them steps so you'd understand what can be done and what can't be done. There's loads that can be done with this. You've got to now go. You've got the basics. You need to go away with it and play with it. Okay. Remember, now this is my last video on this. Whatever you do, make sure there's no kids about. You wear safety goggles if you have to. Always have a multimeter. Health and safety comes first. Okay. Just look after yourself doing this. Okay. Remember what I said about the wires. Colour code your wires. Don't be silly. Don't cut corners. Okay. Even though you're playing with DC, it will bite, it will shock, and it will burn insides out, okay, because you're playing with electricity. Don't muck about, because you will end up in hospital, okay? And it's not worth it for the sake of a little pulse mount on the floor. If you're doing something big, then I can understand why you're doing what you're doing. But just be careful and be mindful. I thank everyone watching tonight. I know it's a bit of a long-winded one. Anyone wants to copy that, just give me a bell. Dave, see you later. Paul, I'll see you at work, mate. Have fun. Look after yourselves. Have a good evening.